Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before and you find that you like my content, please subscribe and like, share, comment. I'd love to hear from you. Today I'm going to be talking about the Toltec practice of recapitulation. But apart from that, I'm also going to be doing a giveaway. So one lucky person can win a paperback copy of my first book, which has just been released in its new edition. And the reason for that is because I got 500 subscribers and it's new moon and everything else, so it's an auspicious time. So let's get into the video. Okay, so recapitulation. With the giveaway, you're going to have to wait until the end. Sorry. Got you there. All right, so recapitulation. Now, you may have heard the term recapitulation used in clinical therapy. And in clinical therapy, it's used very similarly to what the Toltec practice is all about. Except for one quite big difference, actually. With clinical therapy, recapitulation in this sense, what they do is they take you back to a particular situation in your past, and psychologically they get you to remember it, to deal with it, and therefore come back into your present and hopefully take that forward with the understanding that you are now better. The problem with this is that, you know, well, this is my channel, so we're going to always be speaking from a magical point of view, from a spiritual point of view, not just a mental point of view or a physical point of view, but a trauma affects your entire being. It's not just your mind and it's not just your body. It's not just your emotions, it's also your energy body. So what happens when you have a trauma in your life is that actually, while we go through life, it happens, but a trauma is one of the big ones where it actually just starts poking holes in your energy body, and it starts ripping pieces out, and it makes a complete mess of your energy body. So when we're born, we've got this perfect little energy body, but as we go through life and we get hit with one thing after another, especially when we're children, when we're that influential, it becomes very difficult to deal with, and it hammers and hammers and hammers at your energy body. Now, when you go into recapitulation from a clinical therapy point of view, it doesn't repair the energy body. It just allows you to understand better, and with that understanding, therefore, help you with the trauma. But you know, we can even go into other shamanic practices such as susto, soul retrieval. So with soul retrieval, what happens is, or the theory is, that when you have a trauma, a piece of your soul gets ripped out, and that piece of the soul goes and hides in the underworld or the other world. And the reason for this is that if it didn't happen, you would bring back the trauma and you would live it constantly every single day. This piece of your soul gets pulled out and taken away, and then you have this big hole. And what often happens is that hole gets filled with disease, illness, etc. In the shamanic death, if a person is to become a shaman, then usually what happens is the same thing happens. You have a trauma, some kind of trauma, and that piece gets ripped out, but what gets filled or fills that space that's left is power, and you bring that into your life. There are all different types of shamanic death and journeys for somebody who is supposed to become a shaman. That's just one of them. But it's the same thing with when we talk about recapitulation from the Toltec point of view, is all those things that happen during life, our traumas, and just our you know, we have bad things happen to us all the time, and all these bad things just keep coming, and they're hammering and hammering and hammering at our energy body, and it just messes the whole thing up, really. So with recapitulation, what you do is you go back, similar to clinical therapy, you go back to the memory and you relive the memory. But what you do is you do what's called a sweeping breath. And the sweeping breath gives back the power to that person or that situation, that event, and you pull your power back, which as you gain more power, as you recapitulate your own power, then the energy body gets repaired. Now, I'm going to say it, this doesn't work for everybody. I thought it did, but I recently was told that somebody had done this and it didn't work for them. So I'm going to have to say it doesn't work for anybody, which is a bit of a pity because it's a fantastic method of actually repairing your energy body and bringing that power back to yourself. But just to get a bit further into the actual reason why you do this. Now, when you meet people, you go to new places, you have new experiences, you have events happening in your life and things like that. What happens is you attach energy filaments to those people, or to the people, to the places, to the events and things like that. So specifically talking in terms of meeting people, you attach energy filaments to them and they attach energy filaments to you. And power gets passed between these energy filaments. So you are getting power from that person and you're giving your power to that person. And this happens right through life with every single person you meet. Obviously, the more intense the relationship, the more power gets passed. And especially if that relationship extends over a period of time, you continue to, connect your energy filaments and pass your power to that person and vice versa. Now, with the Toltec Warrior practice, one of the main things is to actually get your power back, all of your power, so that when you die, you bypass the ego. If you don't bypass the ego consumes you and consumes all your awareness, and you get reincarnated. If you bypass the ego, you become a linear being and you do not get reincarnated, you become a spirit. But I'm not going to get into all of that too much. So that's the main reason why you want to pull your energy back in the Toltec Warrior Path perspective. But the reason for recapitulation is to pull your power back so that you can gain more energy, and through that you repair your energy body. So you would go back to your memory, you would relive your memory, and then you would do the sweeping breath in order to push the energy back to the person and pull your energy back to you. And the sweeping breath is really quite simple. You move your head to the right, and then as you move it slowly to the left, you breathe out. All the way around to the left, you breathe out, and then you move back again to the right and you breathe in. Now, when you're breathing out, you're pushing the energy back to the person. When you're coming around from left to right and you're breathing in, you're pulling the power back to yourself. So all those energy filaments get disconnected and pulled, or given back and pulled back. Now, there is a great book by Victor Sanchez that goes through the path of recapitulation extensively. And it is called the Toltec Path of Recapitulation, Healing Your Past to Free Your Soul, by Victor Sanchez. And he does workshops over in the US. Now, in his method, he actually creates a box. So each person who does the workshop, they build their own box, and then you go and sit in the box and you do recapitulation. And this is quite an intensive, I think it lasts 21 days. So it's a 3-week intensive workshop. So right through the night, you recapitulate. And then during the day, you come out of the box, you eat, you sleep, you rest, whatever you need to do. And then at night time, from dusk till dawn, you basically recapitulate the entire time. And you go and sit in your box and you do the recapitulation. The reason for the box is that it pushes on your energy, and it confines you into a space. So it's better to actually do this than it is without the box. People I've spoken to have said it works a lot better, but it isn't necessary to actually use the box. But that's as I say, a 21-day period where you are recapitulating right through the night. There's no breaks, there's no nothing, you recapitulate right through. And you basically recapitulate your entire life. Now, when I first started learning and using recapitulation, my impression and idea and the way I learned it was that you recapitulate for your entire life. You don't just cram everything into a 3-week period and then that's it. Every day you go and recapitulate, and you just take a person, you take an event, and you recapitulate that person and event, and you continue in that way. And you can start with the biggest ones, the ones that will bring you the most power, and as you gain more power, you are able to actually continue easier, because you are obviously gaining more energy. You're repairing your energy body as you go along. But that practice of recapitulation is a lifetime practice. It's not stuck into just a 3-week period. It is something you do every day for the rest of your life until you die. And eventually you get to a point where you have recapitulated your entire previous life, and then you just recapitulate life as it pops up and as you go. And it becomes easier then, because you don't need to recapitulate as much. When you do meet new people and you build those relationships, you need to just keep your energy to yourself, but you're more aware of it, so you don't react the same as you used to. You don't always have that what is it, the flight, fight, or freeze response. You kind of, for a second, whenever you get into a situation where that type of reaction would pop up naturally and you would either just run away or fight, you stand back for a second and you determine what is the best approach for that situation, and then you take that approach instead of that instant reaction. And we have those instant reactions all the time. And those instant reactions often result in loss of energy. So as you continue on this type of path, you don't have those instant reactions, and therefore you retain your energy a lot better. So that whole idea of recapitulation becomes a lot easier at the end of the day. Victor Sanchez, in his book, it's an excellent book. He explains why this happens, and a lot of the time when we have something traumatic happen in our childhood, we even later in life, teenager, adulthood, etc., we tend to sometimes attach certain perceptions to that thing that happened. And when we go back and revisit the actual scene of the actual thing that happened in our memory, and we view it from an objective point of view, we find that it actually wasn't that. The perception we had of how it turned out and what actually happened is completely different. And quite often we carry that thing throughout our life, and it affects us throughout our life. But when we go back, we realize, it wasn't actually what happened, it was completely different. And that then affects how we move forward again. So it might be something that happened in your childhood where you just decided then you're never going to let anybody love you again. And you go through your adult life and you have relationship problems because you will not let anybody love you. Then you go back to the memory and you realize what was actually going on, what actually happened. And that perception you had when you were a child may have been wrong. And it's natural. I mean, you know, we have things happen to us and we create this perception. It happens all the time. There's nothing wrong with it. But when we go back, we find out that things were a bit different. And we bring that back with us. We repair our energy body through the sweeping breath. And then we can then from there carry on. So after you do recapitulation practice of a particular person, for instance, you would then do a not doing after that. So if you, let's just take an example, if you have a bad relationship with your father because of something he did in the past, and you've carried that throughout your adult life, and you have not spoken to your father in 15 years because of this thing, and then you go back, you recapitulate the memory, you realize it wasn't actually what you thought it was and it was something different, then you bring back, you pull back your energy, you give your energy back, you repair your energy body, and then you come back into the here and now. And moving forward, you do a not doing, and that not doing would be contacting your father and telling him how much you love him. So that would be the not doing going forward. And not doing is a practice which also gains more energy. There's lots of ways to do not doings, but that also gives you more energy as well. All right, so that's the basic idea of recapitulation. I've given you a great book to learn. I'm also going to put a link in the description to a great article which explains recapitulation quite simply and easily, and it goes through the sweeping breath and tells you how to do it. So it's from just give you an idea. If you really want to go in depth on what recapitulation is and how the energy body is damaged and affected through our lives and how we can actually repair that, and etc., 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 then read the book. So Victor Sanchez's book, The Toltec Path of Recapitulation. Great book. All right, so let's get round to the giveaway. So I'm going to be giving one person a copy of my book, The Reality of Things. You see, I got my proof copy. Yay, I love it. So all you have to do, very simple. If you haven't subscribed yet, when you're watching this and you want the book, subscribe. If you don't want the book, subscribe anyway, because I'll love you more for it. But subscribe to the channel, like this video, share this video, and make a comment in the comment section. And the comment should say, I want my bloody book. You have to use the word bloody because it's very important. I want my bloody book. All right? And that's all you need to do. And I'll keep this going until full moon, the 27th. And then I'll pick a winner from the comments who have commented, I want my bloody book. And I'll announce the winner and I'll contact them to get their address. Unfortunately, it won't be signed or anything like that because it's going to be shipped straight from Lulu. I'll also put the link to the book on Lulu where you can purchase it if you want to go and purchase it now. I'll love you as well. In the description. So you can go and have a look and see what it's about. So, the reality of things, if you want the book, you know what to do. Subscribe, like, share, comment, the proper comment, and I'll pick a winner on the full moon. And that's it for today. I'll see you on Friday, hopefully. We've got the live show again, the Black Hat Chat, where Kai and I talk about witchy witchcraft stuff. This week we are, I believe, if I'm correct, we're talking about shadow work. So if you want to know a bit more about that, come and join us on the live. Otherwise, if you can't make it, you can watch it afterwards. And hopefully all my technical issues are sorted out this week. Let's cross fingers. And yeah, so I'll see you on Friday, or I'll see you next week. Cheers.